So if you're tired of being distracted, if you're tired of just being sucked in, like you go to check your phone for one thing and then before you know it, you're off doing something else. If you're just tired of feeling like you're not that great of a spouse or a parent because your phone you feel helpless a little bit, like it just continually sucks you in despite how many, good boundaries you set, your willpower is spent by the end of the day. I can relate to all that. In fact, I feel like you just kind of have an ADHD brain. I have 5 children and I just really felt like I needed to do something because I was just getting sucked in by my smartphone. So I'm sharing today why I quit a smartphone, what I'm doing instead, how it's going, and just some thoughts in case you've ever thought about switching, like it just feels like you just couldn't do it. There's just too many tools wrapped up in your smartphone for you to make the switch. I want to share how I switched to a light phone, and I think it's been around 4 months or so. And I want to tell you some things that have changed for me. So I'm going to share all of that in this video and just even show you a little bit about the light phone. I might just do a whole video later, like actually walking you through the light phone. It's not easy by any means. Like there's some friction there. It's not seamless, but I have so many people stop me and they're like, what in the world is that thing? So I want to show it to you before we get off this video. Hey, my name is Lana. This is Girl Teach Me. This whole channel is to help women just be more intentional in their motherhood. So if you're a man watching this, I hope you stay. I hope this video is super helpful for you. You don't have to be a woman to glean a lot of value from this video, but typically that's what I have on my channel. So if you are a woman and you want to be a better mama, I hope you'll hit subscribe. And if you're a man just watching this video, I hope it's helpful. Tell me down below what drew you to this video. What are you thinking about quitting your smartphone? Have you quit your smartphone? Are you using, like if you're using a dumb phone, what phone are you using? Are you using the light phone, the wise phone? Have you quit Instagram? Like I'm just very curious. What is your process? Where are you in your thought process about a smartphone? Love to hear your thoughts before, during, or after this video, and just to share your wisdom with somebody else if they're thinking about quitting their smartphone, like what helped you make the jump. And the last thing I'm curious about is how you have replaced your tools if you've quit the smartphone. That's one thing I'm going to talk about in this video. So if you have quit the smartphone, how are you doing music? How are you doing podcasts? Things like that. I'm still learning too, so I'd love to hear from you. One reason was, like I said, I was going to the phone for one tool, and before I knew it, I was off using like 3 or 4 other tools. And it was like I would come to and be like, I went to the phone to check who called me or my text messages. And then all of a sudden I am checking Instagram, or all of a sudden I'm listening to a podcast, or all of a sudden I'm checking my email. And what in the world? That is not what I set out to do. It's like my brain just kind of got away from me. And I got really tired of that feeling. I got tired of feeling like I was addicted as well. It felt like a drug I just couldn't break. And it felt like it was more addicting than my willpower can match. And that's because phones are made to be addictive, and they spend a lot of money on these apps to make them highly addictive, phones to make them highly addictive. And I just wanted to spend my life in a different way. To be honest, I feel like real life is happening in front of me, not on a phone. I want to also be the best mom I can be for my kids. And I asked my kids one day, I was like, how can I be a better mom? And they gave me 2 pieces of feedback. One was stop yelling. So I'm working on that, working on my motherhood anger, reading triggers right now, trying to be a calmer, nicer mom, working on that. Second thing they said was you could be on your phone less, which really hit me hard because honestly, I felt like I wasn't on my phone that much. Honestly, I felt like I had decent boundaries, but I think I had to be honest with myself because I think a lot of times it's like our inner lawyer just comes in and they're like, I'm not that bad. I think I was that bad. And I don't think I was on it all the time, but I think that when I did have it around, I just got sucked in, or I just checked it all the time. I was looking for that dopamine hit, and it honestly was just like such an energy suck, like an energy vampire for me. So I really felt the nudge to make a change, but I just didn't know what it was. I've been intrigued by this phone for literally years, since I think the first time I read about it was Chip Gaines. I think used it at one point to quote unquote go light. Like he would leave his work phone and just take one of these phones with him. And so like if somebody wanted to get in contact with him, they just used essentially this phone. So I first heard about it, I think in the Magnolia Journal, and then just had heard of other people using it. So Black Friday came around, I think last year. I bought the phone at like a good discounted deal, and then it sat under my bed for 6 months. One reason it sat under my bed for 6 months is because my husband was very uncertain about it. He was like, well, Lana, if something happens, I'm not going to know where you are. That's fair. And you know, you can use Apple tags and things like that. But like, he really, from a safety issue, wanted to know where I was. Also, he didn't love that he couldn't do like Find My iPhone. And you know, sometimes like if we can't get a hold of each other, we would do like Find My iPhone, because it really, I would keep my phone on silent most all the time anyways, because I was trying to be plugged in with my kids, homeschooling, things like that. But like if you really needed to get a hold of me, he did Find My iPhone. He couldn't do that. So those were like his hangups. And I just told him, like, I either need you to be all in or all out, because I don't want to do this reluctantly. Like, I want you to give me green light go, because I don't want this to be a point of tension between us. So we kind of had to work out some of that. Finally, my iPhone broke 6 months later. And I was like, I think I need to do it. And he was still uncertain, but we didn't really want to go spend another $1,000 on an iPhone, since we just buy ours outright instead of like essentially having a payment program with the iPhone or with the company. It was kind of like my green light go, but my phone was kind of broken, kind of limping, and I got lost on a trip because the iPhone just like wasn't working great for GPS. And finally I was like, I'm switching, and I went and bought a GPS from Walmart. And that was kind of like the last thing that kind of in my mind I felt like I couldn't switch, because if I needed to go somewhere with the kids, I didn't want to get lost. Once I got that $100 GPS, I felt like I could really switch to the light phone. So like I said, I'm using the light phone. Now, I think that there is a way that this phone, just on my phone, it's just like phone settings and alarm. I think there is a way to add music, and I think there's a way to do podcasts, but I think you have to have like the higher data plan. And I'm just paying the $30 a month, the light phone plan, like through them. You can use other carriers. I'm just using them to keep it simple. I used like the lowest data plan, and I just wanted it to be pure and simple because I am based at home most of the time. I could theoretically just use my computer for Audible, for podcasts, for FaceTime. I can still use my Apple ID, things like that. So those are like some of my workarounds. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but like, how have I replaced the tools? Because I think that's what some people are saying is like, Lana, like, I feel like the smartphone is just like a Swiss Army knife. Like, it has a bunch of different tools in it. How would you replace all those tools? Well, for me, I didn't want all the tools in it, because that's what kept tripping me up, is I would go there for one tool and end up on another tool. So I liked separating the tools, because when I really want to talk or text, I just go to this thing, and otherwise I don't pick it up. And so it's made me less available to the outside world, but it's made me more available to my kids. And I really appreciate that. And also the people that are truly my friends are going to push through, you know, me not responding to Instagram messages or whatever, and they're going to call me. And we've had so many more phone conversations. It's actually kind of challenging to text on this thing. Like, how I normally text on it is I do voice to text, but it doesn't come through like a voice memo, which I love voice memos. I still do them on my computer, but it looks more like I come here, I hit and I just talk like this, and it just transcribes whatever I'm saying. Now, it's janky. Like, sometimes it puts random periods or whatever, but I've just told everybody in my circle, like, hey, I have a dumb phone. I'm doing voice to text. It may not fully make sense, and I don't really care. It gets fine for me. But what I'm trying to say is it is not a seamless process. Now, I think the light phone is coming out with a new phone, and it could be an upgrade. Like, I think it's going to feel more like an iPhone. And this has more of like that Kindle feel, the way it refreshes, and like I forget what it's called, but it's like the electronic ink or whatever. It can lag a little bit, which I think is like a con for people with the light phone. But honestly, like I said, I just wanted to be able to call and text, and I just wanted all the tools to be removed. And when they're not an option, like, limitations can be gifts sometimes, and it's just not an option. I mean, for weeks I was sitting there going like, do something for me, give me dopamine. And it's like, I mean, you can call somebody, but that's all you're going to be able to do. So I stopped looking for dopamine from this thing, and I moved on and read a book, or I moved on and did something, or I spent time with my kids. I think for me, I just had to like have that break. You know, it took some transition time, I'd say like a couple of weeks, and then I just kind of, like, somebody asked me the other day, they're like, are you not doing Instagram for your business? And I'm like, you know what? Like, I just kind of forgot it exists. I forgot this whole world is there, and maybe I'm missing some sales on my courses because I'm not on Instagram, but that's okay. I mean, I'm okay with it. It's fine. Another thing is I did not move all my contacts over. I think you can do that. I just didn't feel like doing it. Honestly, I felt like a clean sweep. People that really want to get in contact me, they would reach out to me. I would reach out, I would find their phone number on my computer, and I slowly just built back up my contact list. And if somebody texts me and I don't know who it is, I'm like, hey, I got a new dumb phone. I don't know who this is. Tell me who it is. So that was kind of hard, but also kind of nice. The one thing I'm really, really missing is I am missing taking pictures. That is kind of sad to me because I feel like I haven't taken a lot of pictures of my 1-year-old. I kind of want to get just like a point and shoot camera. I think that would be really sweet. I have a nice camera that like I'm shooting this YouTube video on, but it's kind of clunky, and that's not necessarily what I would have, just around. So I'm sad about that. I miss that a little bit. It's kind of hard sometimes when people send me pictures. It is forwarded to my email, and I check my email every other day or so. So I see those podcasts, I see those pictures, like anything that's like a link or a picture, it is forwarded to me. So I get those, but I can't see that on the light phone. So that's a little bit of a bummer. Of course, I messed up some group messages because I'm not an iPhone user, which was kind of a bummer, but sometimes group messages, they're not the best anyways. One thing I am considering is I'm considering getting an old iPod. I read some Reddit threads on light phones, and some people have gotten just like the last version of the iPod, and you can buy them on eBay just to load music onto. There's even a workaround to load books and podcasts. So I kind of miss that, but honestly, sometimes when I go on a walk, I walk in the quiet, and it's kind of refreshing just to listen to nature. And it's one thing that's been nice is to not have so much content coming into my brain. I feel like I had mission drift, like with my business and with my mothering and all the things, because I would listen to these experts and they would kind of like tell me what they're doing, and then I would drift and think, well, that's what I need to be doing. But since I've had less information coming in and more information coming through books, it feels like I can apply it instead of just taking in information that I'm not actually using, or that kind of overwhelms me or derails me. So it's kind of been nice just to limit the information, to be honest. My final thoughts are, if you feel tugged to just give up your phone, to give up your smartphone, honestly, it's something you can just do for a little while. It can just be a season. It can be 6 months. And if you don't love the light phone or the Wise phone or whatever phone you get, you could just sell it back. Like, sell it back on eBay if you don't want to do it. Like, it's okay just to try something for a little while. Maybe you just need a break. Maybe you need a season without that dopamine hit or that temptation to scroll, or maybe you just need a break for your ADHD mind and you want to have more linear thought. Maybe, I don't know what your reason is, but if you need a break, I think one thing that can help is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can just be for a little while. You're not committing to it for forever. And I've had people say, like, are you done with the smartphone forever? And I'm like, I don't really see a reason to go back, but I'm not married to the idea of being without a smartphone forever. So I think it's okay just to try it and just see. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. I will do a deeper dive soon on the light phone, maybe like show you some overhead shots of what it looks like, and so you can get an idea. But like I said, I think a newer version is coming out soon that won't be exactly like this version. It's definitely more expensive. A good old flip phone could be, I think those are like $35. So my mom said I got gypped spending a couple $100s on a phone that's this small and doesn't do a whole lot. But I like the look and the feel of it. It's been funny. I seriously was at a coffee shop the other day and the guy was like, what is that thing? I feel like I'm looking into the future. And I'm like, well, it's kind of like you're looking into the past, but it's fun. It's just fun to be doing something a little bit different. And one thing I have noticed is just how many people in public are on their phone. Now that I'm not on my phone, I'm like, wow, it's just a really distracted time in history. And it feels good to almost like be sober to what's happening around me. Like, I'm really there, even if other people are kind of like half there and not fully there. So not in a prideful way. Like, I try not to be prideful about it, because this is just something I'm learning, and this is just something that's important to me, and it may not be important to other people, but it feels good to just to be awake to life and to really fully be present, and this has helped me a ton. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Like I said, if you are a woman and you want to be more intentional in your motherhood, I hope you will stick around. I have so many videos here on this channel that can be help for you, that can be a help for you, and I hope that you'll hit subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next video.